Have a little microphone if needs be, but I don't know how windy it's going to be.
No.
Let's have a look. Sometimes it helps.
Yeah.
Just bear
You've
with us
got
a
all the
sec.
gear then.
Oh yes. Yeah, I've got all the gear. Well, I'm in photography anyway, see.
Oh, is that one of your
Yeah,
main
that's one of my
people?
things.
Oh, right.
That is one of my things, and it's like, well, it's just also conversation.
Right.
It's about striking up conversations as well,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
which has led us to here.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And which is why I was interested in what you were doing, because I just felt there was something really positive
Yeah.
about the fact you were reaching out and trying to not only engage with people but to sort of retain what you'd learned and then look to share it. Yeah, which I think is fantastic.
And it's what I'm facing at the moment is learning how to do it in a positive light, because not everybody is friendly.
Right.
When I walk around with the camera, I'm learning.
Right. Right. Is this fairly new venture for you then?
I started at the beginning of this year.
Right. Okay.
To kind of play with it, because I had a bit of time
tea
on
and a
my hands.
cappuccino.
Oh, fantastic! Thank you.
I'll take the tray in for you as well, alright?
Cheers.
Oh, actually, do you want to leave it on there? Then it's easier for me to come and get it, isn't
I
it?
can always walk it back.
That's
then
right,
as
thank you,
well.
darling.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There you go. Sorry, where are we?
You were saying beginning of the year you'd.
Well, yeah, because how I was physically I only work part time, so it was kind of experiment and learning that I can't do my job forever, and the experience that I feel I have, both professionally and privately, it's a case of just learning from it and documenting it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yes.
finding out about funding and about support, and because a lot of people don't know. Like the town council, it's a public meeting, and nobody knows that they exist. When I talk to people, sometimes I'm still having the comment of, I didn't know that happened. I didn't know that was there. I didn't know it was public.
Yeah.
So it's
And it
sharing
becomes
that
a sort of
information.
almost like a vicious circle, because then people are labelled as really not being interested.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to contribute. There's no point in asking people because nobody's come forward, and often it's because people don't know.
Yeah. Or if they do know and they go forward, do they get listened to anyway?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's.
So what led you to this? Because it's quite a significant thing that you're doing. I mean, what is your? Can I ask? Professionally, what is your?
I'm in the nursing.
Right.
So I've just started
Right.
So I started off with learning disabilities, working with learning disabilities in the hospitals, and that led me on to do my mental health training, which I did, and things happened during and after which kind of I couldn't succeed in that profession because I got not in an accident, I broke my back, so that limited me. So from my work in secure units coming out into the community to the point where I couldn't really even work in the community anymore.
Wow.
Because of my back, liability. So.
Were you based in North Walshams at the time?
No, I've been based in Norwich, in Yarmouth.
Right.
I've flitted about, and then.
So North Walshams
is where I live.
Where you live, and this is what you're exploring, and.
Yeah, I mean, once
about.
I had all my operations and everything else, and I worked to walking again without the two sticks. what do you do? Because there's part of mental health where physically you can't do much, but mentally it's spinning around at 100 mile an hour, and you
Right.
can't, it's getting that tempo right.
Mm.
So for me, it's learning the beat of my own drum and allowing my mental health to go at that speed.
Right.
So with the work that I went back into, which was then dementia at
Right.
that point, and from there and how my part-time jobs kind of evolved, that it's just the point now where I now full-time care for my mum.
Right.
So I had to give that job up. Or I didn't have to. I gave mum the choice of, I could, or I carry on and but then with my health issues, it's
Made
it's
lots
keeping
of
that
sense.
balance. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I do, and with that, and with politics, and with not understanding, you've got Mind, the Phoenix Group, but it's always closed, and
Have they actually opened
things-
now? Oh, is it open?
The last I heard, they're waiting for an elevator to be fitted.
That's going to take.
But this is, when I go around and talk to people, and people come up and talk to me, I hear a range of things. So I have to kind of keep level-headed of, well, does that sound sensible? Does that sound like gossip? Or if I've heard it more than once, does that then become a case of, yeah? Or do I have to rely on what I see? Especially in health side of things, which is what took me to PositiviTea.
Yeah.
Because I'm interested in that, because that's still a passion of mine, of mental health and that nursing and caring, signposting, and getting the funding there to know that everything is working together. And over the last few years, it's not working anymore. There's things that I'm noticing that is really scary. And what help is out there and stuff,
Yeah.
But that's another thing, because I'm still learning about.
Yeah.
I'm still getting, all that stuff. But what about you?
Well, we retired down here. Well, I retired and we came down here, and from South Yorkshire actually.
Yeah.
That was our last place. We've been around quite a bit. We haven't been in Norfolk at all, really, and just discovered North Walshams, discovered where we wanted to live, and we've just loved it ever since. We've been here about 10 years now.
Yeah, I've been here 10 years.
All right, yeah. And then very soon after we moved, we got a notice come through the letterbox which said, would you be interested in helping to set up, it's a general one going out to everyone, interested in help or seeing or helping to set up something called a Good Neighbour scheme. And there was a very simple explanation of what it was, a very
This is
practical.
through everybody's door.
Yeah, this was CAN, Community Action Norfolk, where I think they've got given funding to promote the idea of good neighbour schemes in different towns, in catchment areas in the county. Anyway, Judy and I looked at that, and we were both thought, yeah, brilliant. I mean, selfishly, it's a good way to find out about the town, meet people, and learn a bit more of the history of the place, as it were. But also, it linked with our own personal values and the fact we felt it was important that if you're in a community, you should be contributing and perhaps overcoming some of the barriers that get in the way of what has been going on for as long as communities have existed, of neighbourliness. But today, perhaps it's more difficult as families are spread apart.
It's more social media as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I suppose that's why I upload all this to YouTube. Do you know what I mean? Because it's where it gets seen.
Yeah.
And to have this discussion, I think it's valuable to share what we talk about, because there might be other like-minded people that will think, yeah, do you know what, you're right, and therefore get in contact with you.
Well, that's why we're talking now, I think, because I think I recognise in you that it's a like-minded person, and I think you're right. It's those networks of,
Yeah.
of like-minded people that hopefully make things happen in a positive way in
Yeah.
a community.
Yeah.
No, it may not. We may never meet again.
Well, yeah,
But on the other hand,
exactly.
it may be the beginning of lots of positive things. So
Yeah.
who knows? Yeah.
Well, I don't know either. This is
Yeah.
why I'm just flowing with it. You know what I mean?
Going with the flow, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we got then very involved with the setting up of this Good Neighbours scheme, and then we've been involved ever since. And it's probably our main activity within the town. It's become, I think, quite successful as with the number of volunteers and the number of people we support. And it, as you saw at the positivity,
Positivity.
yes,
I had to get my head around that one as well.
Yeah.
You're not the only one.
it's about providing. Very much, it's person-led. We don't tell people what they need. We listen to what people are asking for, and then if we're able to provide practical support or information or signposting, then we do that. And then people are usually very grateful, because what we are looking at are often very short-term one-off things,
Yeah.
and nothing gigantic. And if it is big, then hopefully we can help them find the right sort of place to get the help they need. So very simple concept, it's a bit of a no-brainer really why something like that is worth doing in your community.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
parallel to that, or soon after that, I also got involved with something which then became the Think Carer Network, which was the same sort of philosophy almost, but working with groups in the community, mainly community and voluntary sector organisations, but increasingly embracing any group, statutory as well as private, that is committed to making a difference, positive difference to people in the town. And so, although the original focus was very much on unpaid carers, we've now broadened that out to become the community network, which embraces all types of groups and organisations working together. And we've put on some. In the past, we've put on, again, very successful events, a bit like positivity, but on steroids. Because, when you get a big bash, the whole place is buzzing.
Yeah.
Lots of people coming through. There's a great atmosphere.
How did you feel positivity when?
Well, we've been before to such things. We always go realistically knowing that the chances of getting people off the street or local people coming in is quite remote, really, on the basis of past experience. But, however, it's always good to, as we were doing, network with other organisations that are working in the town, because you always learn something, and you can find out about new developments and what's happening. So from that point of view, from a networking point of view, it's fine. In terms of getting the message out to the public, it's unless you really, really work at it, then I don't think it's the sort of thing you can just get together and just expect people to come.
It's a difficult one. It's a bit like meetings, whether it be SNAP, town council, community meeting. If people have issues or if people need something or want something, they come along, because
You would hope they would come on.
yeah.
You would hope they
And normally when their issue has been resolved, you probably won't see them again.
Yeah.
But that long-lasting support is what shortens it, and it's the funding, I think, because it still bothers me that there is so much voluntary work out there, and yet they're pushing, ESA, DWP and everything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
back to work, and it's like,
That's really interesting conversation.
you know, even though, you know, voluntary work, from what I've learned from Positivity, from a lot of them, if it wasn't for the voluntary sector, I don't know how this country would run. And it's that balance, isn't it? Of morally, is it right? Is it wrong? But to stop people from falling through gaps, which I think is very important. It's things like North Walsham, you know, neighbourhood scheme that I find important. I mean, there's a lady that I know, and she has mental health issues, and she wanted her fence fixed. And she came to me and complained because this person took her for a ride and charged her more. I believed in it cost her more than what it should have done. Yet
Right.
something like this, she probably would have quite happily paid you 20 quid for your pot because she's got her fence panel done and she wasn't taken advantage of
Yes.
being done with it.
Yeah.
So it's, do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah, I do. I mean, and we do get a lot of people in that situation. I think I've moved slightly from, I suppose politically I'm very conscious of the fact we need to have a boundary between what is legitimate for a community or voluntary organisation to get involved with and what the statutory sector, the state, should be providing because we all pay towards it. Yeah. So, and I suppose when I came here, my experience has been in the voluntary sector in the past, but in the paid voluntary sector rather than the community voluntary sector, to make that distinction. And so, knowing what a struggle it has been over years to get the funding to do what we do, I'm very conscious of that. And one of the things that really appealed to me about the Good Neighbour scheme was we started out with 70 quid for the year. We just did it. Did it. And if we needed something specific like a mobile phone or a computer, we just come into the shop or someone said we need this amount of money for this
so
thing.
is that where the bulk of your funding is from the community shop?
No, not the bulk of it. We have used community shop.
And they've been good to
Yeah,
agree to that donation.
Yeah, exactly. And rightly, they're always keen to know what is it you actually want to do and what difference is that going to make to people. Justification and all the rest of it. And that's fine. And that's why one of the things I've enjoyed about being involved with this is that there's been a very direct correlation. If we had no demand in terms of funding, we could still operate without any funding.
But it wouldn't be fair though, would it?
Well,
because it's still the cost of phone calls, it's still the cost of travelling expenses, even though the work itself is free. There's still, and I think it's right. I think it's right that these, the way you're doing it, the work is free, but, the phone calls, the 45p mileage that you were talking about, that should be right.
Yeah.
But then having a little bit more funding to maybe, like for instance, the people that volunteer for you, has there ever been in that 1 year where you've said, come on, meet us down the pub, we can all have a cuppa and a sausage roll, just to say a thank you?
Well, we're going to have it our Christmas do exactly those sorts of lines in a few weeks.
And I hope it's funded as well.
Oh, we'll pay the first drink.
Okay.
If you don't, then people on the scheme will say, hang on, what are you doing with this money that we've been raising and all this? But yes, you're right, people should be given the generosity and the appreciation.
Absolutely.
For what
because
they're
then it's keeping your volunteers happy, isn't it? It's nice to be appreciated. So something like that, I think, I I would sign your box of.
Ah.
Do you know what I mean? I would.
Yes. So that's going. I don't know where I've gone now. I'm just rambling.
So,
but,
yeah, we do,
Yeah.
That's what happens. So where
But-
are you at? Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I was going to say.
Yeah.
So this thing was called the North Walshams Think Carer Network,
Right. Yes.
and we organised the first big bash. We've had about 4 or 5 now, including during COVID when we had a virtual
Where do you hold these? Where?
community centre, same venue.
Was there a big bash a few months ago at the community centre? Because I'm now thinking, was it in just North Walsham or North Walsham Times? I'm trying to remember if there was an article in there about it, and it was successful. And the picture showed that it was really quite busy.
Yeah, that was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
So was that similar to what happened with the PositiviTea? Is that a similar
Well,
thing?
similar in the sense that there are stands and there are people there, but we're more comprehensive in terms of the activities. So you have your scouts and the guides as well as children or parent, family stuff going on and the rest of it.
A community thing.
A genuine community
At all
thing.
different ages.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
there's all different ages in a community.
Exactly.
So you got to cater for them all.
Yeah, and we catered for them all, and we saw it. We recognised that that networking was important. So we had we kicked off with a networking event and a meal, a buffet meal, which we provided for all the people who'd come, whether they were voluntary, community or statutory sector, to thank them for what they'd done.
Yeah.
So lots of networking going on, which people really appreciate. And then it was open to the public, and the public came along. And
you see, had I known about that, I would have probably brought the camera on and done
Right.
just the same thing like we did at PositiviTea, just taking time, going around the stands and talking about what they do.
Yeah, well, that was why when I saw what you're doing, that's exactly why I thought that is what. To be honest, we have done something similar to that, but not on YouTube. We had one of our a kind of colleague, a volunteer colleague who does filming, and what we did for the same sort of reason that you're talking about, we wanted to have conversations with the main providers of services. So we did short, I don't know what you call them, headshot conversations. We had set questions.
What kind of video sort of?
Yeah,
Like an
video.
interview sort of thing?
Yes, like a short interview. What we say, hi, I'm so and so from community transport, and based in North Walsham, and we do this. This is what we do, and this is how you contact us.
Yeah.
So we just did a whole series of those.
Yeah.
And so that we could, when our volunteers go out,
Looks nice.
nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
When the volunteers go out, then people wanted to know about some of these places. Not only will you give them a leaflet, but you actually gave them an audio-visual clip that they could see. So similar, very similar.
Well, communication is extremely important. Even with nursing, you know what I mean? So when I take this out, I walk around, I let the conversation go to wherever it needs to go.
Yeah.
Because people that are sitting at home and they can see the feel and the atmosphere of it now of, oh God, that's a bit, or it's really nice, supportive, and North Walsham actually has a really good community.
Yes.
And that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
And uploading it to YouTube.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, YouTube might actually pay me.
Yes. Right.
And then I might not need to worry about going back to the job that I was doing, because this is actually better physically for me to do.
And also from a mental health point of view,
And
it's
from mental health
fulfilling
point of view.
and worthwhile, isn't it?
Yeah. And it takes me away from looking after my mum, because it's like I'm back in the area that I feel comfortable in to talk about and
Yeah,
to promote.
yeah, yeah.
You know?
And you know it will make a difference to people's lives.
I'd like to think so, but I have more videos than I do subscribers, so you know.
Right.
So I'm getting there, just very slowly.
Yeah. So going back to Community Network, we were Community Think Carer Network. We then broadened it out. We're now the Community Network. We still have made one of the central elements of what we do, Big Bash, but we've been broadening out our ideas about what we should be doing.
Right.
Let me see. Yeah, right. This is just okay. This is not. Well, it has been agreed, but this is really just to give you an idea
Okay.
of what we're about in a very brief summary form.
So is there a committee then? Is there a,
Yeah.
how many of you are there in the committee?
In the steering group,
Still.
it's 6, 7,
Yeah. Good number.
and in the network we've got probably between 40 and 50 groups who've signed up to be members of the community network.
Groups. What do you mean by groups? You mean
Organisations, community
Right, okay.
groups,
Okay,
volunteer
okay.
organisations, or
You
whatever.
got 50 of them,
Up to 50, yeah.
all different things.
Yeah,
Oh.
covering the whole lot. They're the people who would come to something like the Big Bash.
Okay. So when are you next doing a big bash?
Well, we've decided, because of the pure effort involved, we can do it every 2 years. So
Oh, right, okay.
we
Oh,
won't
I've
do it
just
next
missed
year.
it then.
Yeah, a year's time.
Well, fingers crossed, I'll still be doing this.
Yeah, do come along.
Yeah.
That would be brilliant.
Yeah, because you see, the being able to record, I mean, it's still kind of classed as photography. It's not illegal or anything. So, you know, public places, public spaces, and, you know, just expecting people to want to be on the camera and that. You know, a lot of my videos, sometimes I turn it away as I'm talking to people, so you can hear the conversation but not see people. Because
Yeah.
I still expect people's privacy, you know?
Yeah. So those, we've got the very broad aim and vision, but then more specifically under mission, it's about improving access to information support, and these are the sorts of things how we do it. Building capacity of individual groups and organisations, and increasing communication and collaboration. And this is what we do at the moment. However, this new group, this steering group, has come together, and we're just beginning to lift off again. And this is why it's quite an exciting time for us and hopefully others. One of the things we've been doing alongside the Big Bash is developing what are called community contact points. This is what I was trying to show you the other day.
QR code, fantastic. Yeah.
If you go onto that, I don't know if you're able to. Are you able to look at that with your phone?
I can afterwards. I can't right now.
No, that's all right. Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Have a look at that. Just this is now slightly out of date.
I'll tell you what I can do. I will take a picture.
Okay.
This is not a. This is just a device. Yeah, this is just a device now. I'll just get rid of that. Perfect. Thank you very much.
I mean, I can show you anyway.
Oh, slightly windy today. So when is your next? If you're doing the Big Bash every 2 years, when is your next thing? Are you going to be doing?
Well, our next thing probably We've got a steering group meeting on next Monday to agree this. We've been doing some work around how we can encourage and enable more volunteering opportunities to be created within the town.
I've got some ideas for you
Uh-huh.
if you're interested.
We are. Yeah.
Because one of the other things, talked to Drew the other day, that there being a third thing. And I've felt that there's been needing a third thing in the community to bring it all together. I feel we need to. Oh, it's huge. What goes on in my head?
Yeah.
To narrow it down, how about coming up with a project to the side about safe spaces?
Mm-hmm.
So you could involve your IQ code on a poster,
Mm-hmm.
because I'd like to encourage the shops because with domestic abuse,
Yeah.
with violence on the streets and everything else, not that we have much here, and with the support that Jill gave to the Raymond Quigley legacy, I've said that correctly, that there needs to be a third thing. We need to be responsible about what we're doing, but what we need to talk about, to how we teach to change the thoughts of knife crime and stuff like that. And for this, what I'm learning, there's not really many safe spaces in
Right.
North Walsham.
Right.
In Norwich, there is, because it's a city. North Walsham is a town. There's not many. And what I learned the other day when I went to the fire stations, I didn't feel like it was the safe space that I thought it was,
Right.
because it's not manned 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
The police station, yeah, we've got that, but you can't get inside. It's a yellow phone box outside, because you can't actually access the old building because it's locked. Where else is there safe spaces? Black Swan. I regard this as a safe space. Whether you have learning disability, mental health, gay, lesbian, blue hair, grey hair, you can walk in and you're always welcome. And it's a safe environment and it feels safe. So coming back to including that within your QR code of maybe the shops are open quite a lot, not so much at night time, but is there a way where there could be a project of getting what shops are on board, to include, if you have any issues, you can just walk in that shop because I already signed up to it, knowing that you're going to be safe.
Right.
Because one of the new things that I've learned recently in public toilets is Angela. Ask for Angela. Have you heard Ask for Angela?
No.
If you go on a date, being a female, and I guess male, I'm not quite sure about that, that's probably something to look into, but if you're female and you go somewhere on a date and you don't feel comfortable, you can go up to, if they're on the scheme, you can go up to the bar and ask for Angela, and that is the code, that is the word for them to realise that you want help, you need a safe space, and then whatever their policy procedure is from Ask for Angela, if I've got that right, it's definitely Angela. That needs to be heavily promoted.
Right.
Even in the hello, you look great. That is Halloween, yeah.
Yes, I'm helping at the children's day today.
That safe spaces need to be kind of probably 24-hour. So maybe there can be shops, and it's not going out of anybody's way to then maybe call 999. But if you had something like that within your voluntary sector, you could then probably put these posters up with your QR code because it will all make sense.
That's a really interesting idea.
Is it?
It's not a
I
million miles away
non-threatening
from what we would be wanting. Not that we haven't discussed that, but it's not a million miles what we're planning to do, because we have had what are called community contact points.
Yeah.
Swan is one, where we say to people, this is a digital source of information about everything you might need in North Walsham. But if you're not a digital user person, at the community contact point, they will provide you with help. They will give you the help you need to access the information that you need. It could literally be from just knowing when the next bus to Norwich is, through to I need help. When you have a chance to look at that,
I will do that when I get home.
You'll be able to see, because it's been designed to make it as simple to use as possible. However, of course, not everyone.
I think the word is clunky, isn't it? As long as the site isn't clunky,
and
it flows nicely. That's
well,
what users like to see.
I've been really interested in your feedback when you've had a chance to look at it.
Okay.
And if you think it is clunky or could be improved, or if it's missing anything, and you've highlighted one example, then that would be good. Now, we've had a number of these community contact points. Now, they haven't, partly because as volunteers, we've been unable to go around and give the intensity of support to these community contact points, unless it's someone who is naturally set up to do it in a way. So we've had people like Hughes, the electrical people, involved, Juliet Swallows, and others who are that. But it needs a bit more of a push to make it clear to people that this is where you can get support and help. So what we're probably going to do, using that, is develop a really attractive, interesting poster that we will ask the retailers and others whether they would put it in their window.
And to have, because it's give and take, isn't it?
Yeah.
So to have their businesses then on here as promotion, because if it's all voluntary and nothing being paid, then do it through the advertisement.
Yeah.
Both ends.
You know, I was really surprised and heartened when we first set up these community contact points, particularly in private businesses, because I was almost bent over backwards when I was telling them about this and saying it might be good for all and it gives you. And I was quickly told, look, we're a local community business, we're a local business. We know that the community of North Walsham, support us by coming to buy things. We don't need to be told, do this to increase footfall. We want to do it because we want to do it for the community in North Walsham. And if there is any benefit to us in terms of footfall, that will be brilliant, but it's not something we're not doing it because we want to have the advertising or whatever.
Well, even if that's the case, then
brilliant.
But it's just a give and take.
And I'm sure other people who we would talk to would probably not be doing that as well. Well, so
how many community contact points do you have?
Well, we had half a dozen, but we're probably pulling them in now because we reckon, because we've had tablets which we provided to certain ones, and then public trench, which is change management.
So they've got a tablet.
We provide them a tablet and we provide them with information so that customers can get the information they need from there, and if they need help, someone behind the bar will give them
help system with the iPad or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And
Joe's, it's exactly the same here.
Yeah.
Joe's on the community contact board.
So he's got an iPad that if somebody comes in and
he in his case, he said, look, I've already got one anyway, so
Like
I don't need one. But
Yeah.
And he said if somebody is requesting information or needs information, we'll use this. and we will
So you've
provide
got
support.
6. So you've got the pub in Trunch.
Yeah,
What's that one called? The pub?
that was. Crown. Do you know
Yes.
Crouch at all?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
It's
got
near
one
the
pub here.
church,
Right.
behind the church.
Okay. There's another place that I could probably point you to.
All right. Okay.
You've also you've got Black Swan,
We've got Julie at
Swallows,
Hughes, with the
Hughes.
electrical people.
right,
Library, they're
Library.
involved with the scheme as well.
and
Well, we've talked to Phoenix, and we haven't been able to persuade them to actually get too involved, but they've given us, they said they'll put on one page just to draw attention.
so what do you mean? What do they want to get involved with?
Well, I don't quite really know, because
Okay.
we would like to be able to say to them, we can provide you with a tablet, and that's already set up with
Yeah.
all this information on. All you have to do is just show it to somebody, ding, 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 and see what they want.
Okay.
The rest of it.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
But anyway, we're kind of reviewing all of this, and we felt that that community contact point, as it was originally envisaged, hasn't been very successful. The portal's successful. A lot of people find that really, really good.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
useful.
Well, QR codes are getting so popular because you're there in an instant, and you haven't got to remember anything.
No,
you know?
exactly. But the way of providing that sort of support we haven't really broken through on that one. And I think that's probably largely because we haven't had the personal support to be able to promote it really to people within the town. However, what we are now using, as I say, is after next Monday when we talk about it,
Yeah.
I think we will be saying the campaign we're going to launch is going to be to promote to retailers a poster including this, saying this is where you can get information and support, because
Yeah.
they'll still provide support.
Right.
And we're also mentioning CA and the library as two places where people can go, where there are people who can give them face-to-face
And if
support.
somebody does watch this and is up for joining, they can just say what help
Yeah.
can we do, and then you sign them up and
Exactly.
okay. That's
Yeah,
good to
and if
know.
you can somehow illustrate that on the YouTube, I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah. Well, I've took a picture of it, and I mean I can add the link,
Yeah.
the website, and I can also put the picture up of
Yeah.
the QR because I've just took a picture of the poster.
Yes.
So I can put that up, and any phone, if they hover, if they just pause, or
Yeah.
if I use it as thumb now, like however I'm going to use it, if they just pause on it, they can then use their phone, and it doesn't matter how big, how small it seems with QR codes, it comes up automatically on their camera. As long as they understand how to use a QR code.
Yes, exactly. And that's what we're trying to do, obviously, is combine the modern technology of QR
Yes.
with the face-to-face.
Turn them into stickers as well.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can turn them into magnets. I
Yeah.
mean, one thing I found at Positivity, they had their little sweets on the table, which was great. I like that touch. One or two had, their leaflets and stuff, but the magnets with that on, that is definitely,
Yes.
because people just store them on the fridge, and it's there.
Yeah.
But,
Well, you
but with them,
saw that with Good Neighbours. We've got those magnets, fridge magnets.
then just
The contact.
put them on a lamppost somewhere. Let people be inquisitive of what it is. Put the phone up. That's what, you know what I mean? Have fun with it.
Well, that's
Doesn't matter.
I'm going to move forward on this. I mean, the other angle with all of this, QR code is for one thing, portal is one thing, but we're also really keen to develop innovative ways of identifying and supporting organisations in getting more volunteers, and on the flip side of that, promoting volunteering, possibly not even calling it volunteering, just trying to sort of, one expression I heard was help force, which I thought was quite an interesting way, developing a help force rather than a workforce in the town, or just asking people how they support force. Yeah. Something like to get away from the idea that volunteering means I'm going to have to give up my Friday afternoon every week forever and a day. Helping people think more flexibly about how can they use their time in a way that's going to benefit them as well as others.
Yeah. Hard one, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's our challenge. And that's
So
what
how
we're
can
going
I help, apart from doing this and uploading it with the
Right.
bits and bobs? Is there
Well,
anything more else that I
I
can...
mean, one thing you could do, if you were interested,
Yeah.
membership of the community network is open to individuals as well as groups. So we're trying to make it available for people to come in and get involved who are interested in that sort of stuff, which I believe you probably are.
Yeah. Oh no. That's not my drink.
Have another
You
one.
might find... No, I'm alright. I might keep it.
Yeah. So, one, if you were interested, then you could become a member of the network.
What would I do?
Literally, all you'll do is say, I would like to become a member of the network. And you would sign up. You would then go on a group email where we can notify members of what's happening and how they can get involved. It's not an onerous thing. We probably in the past have met 3 times a year, something like that. It doesn't have to be that. Or if you want to become more involved in developing and implementing some of the stuff we've been talking about, then say, as a member of that, join the steering group.
So the first thing I need to do is kind of sign up with groups.
Yeah.
Okay. All right then.
Brilliant.
And I'll see where it leads from there.
Yeah.
You know, whatever I can do on the calls with them. I can do that as
That
well.
would be wonderful. Great. Thank
That's
you very
easy.
much.
Well, thank you.
So, I've got your contact details. Was that an email you gave me, or was it a YouTube?
Yeah, that was my... You want me to write down?
When you come back to the house, yeah, and have a sleep.
And you're waiting for you to realise.
Yeah. Try it first. Oh, that's probably the big.
Oh,
That goes to my
Thursday,
new
31st.
kitchen, and that goes to my tablet.
That's my email.
Right.
Is it in your car?
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay. Have you got one? Oh, do you need that?
I would really like,
I don't care.
I don't even know what it looks like. Where
your green piece of really benefits. Can I take that?
Yeah, yeah,
I said
of
if you
course.
do have any leaflets, I'd pop it in the school on the way home.
Yeah. On there, okay,
And he'll know how to use that. He's got a mobile phone.
okay.
Try to let go.
If I see him, I can run it.
One of the buttons gives access to activities within North Walshams.
Right.
And if you click on that, so that is a little electronic key. You've got to click it twice.
I'll have a look at it. When I get home, I'll have a little
Yeah.
play and see how it
If you look at the activities in North Walshams, that gives you lists of everything that we know about that's going on in the
Yeah.
town. So if people wanted to sort of get involved in different sorts of organisations, then they're doing. We're just about to update it over the next couple of months.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would genuinely be really interested in any feedback, advice, suggestions.
About the Mars Singer people.
I'll do the return. If you want your email down, because then I can give you a fee on my biscuit and my pocket. Because they tend
And they've just seen, don't they, as well? Singing.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, to give you an perspective, from a head coach where the eyes are.
Oh,
so
yeah.
are the
I ain't said I
staff
can't
in
see
these
That's what I said about the chap years ago. That I
in these
worked
places,
They're
like
really good.
Eton and whatnot, they kind of know that when somebody comes to us, they know what
Yeah.
they know what's
Yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah. Yes.
All of them, because who I can imagine having more than one staff.
Well, they have, but as I said, I think now we're getting to the point where we realise we need to give sort of sustained support to them. So that's why we're pulling back now on the concept and thinking of it out in a different way. This is why we're thinking maybe rather than giving tablets to organisations and making it think of that, making a very interesting, active poster which gives the message and the QR code and says, if you need any help, you can get it here.
Yeah.
So that's up for discussion. I think we're going to get dragged in again.
We're all getting dressed up for their party. Right, thank you very much, Paul.
Great to talk to you.
Thank you very much.
We are probably, and I have to be careful because it hasn't been agreed with us yet, probably going to have an event next spring, late spring,
Okay.
probably as part of the Big Help Out, which is the national scheme to promote volunteering.
Right.
So we might have, instead of the Big Bash, we might have the Big Help Out, which will be about in town
Right.
promoting volunteering opportunities, bringing together people.
Oh, right. Yeah. Especially in the spring, if it's a really nice day, sort of thing. Rather than being over at the community centre, how about sorting out the town council with the town clerk and maybe have the street where rather than them come to you, you go to them,
Well,
you know?
join the steering group. Come on, you've got some brilliant ideas.
I do sometimes. Some of it, one time I do sometimes. But they're just gaps that I think that would really be good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From
Well, we have to, it's such a big
Guess what? I'm yellow too.
promote. And like I smiled earlier when you said people will come to these events if they really have a need for it. Actually, you're talking in our group with neighbours, the number of neighbours who've been saying, oh, I need this and I need this and I need this. And our volunteers have said, well, that's really helpful because there's a positivity this afternoon. I think, come down, you'll be able to see all the people who it isn't
they
guaranteed.
can watch it in their own house now.
Yes, exactly.
Well, thank you, boys. Yeah, thank you very much. I will now switch off and do all that. But yeah, I will.
Actually, I can get that song.
And let me
She
know.
read that song. I did.
I will.
That'd be great.
Yeah, fantastic. So I'll send you the stuff. I mean, it's a formality, really. It's just that we've got people's permission
Yeah.
to contact them and all the rest of it. Keep you really informed.
I've done stuff like that in the other ones too. Meetings and stuff. Quite happy
Yeah.
to get it. So yeah,
Fantastic.
thank you. Happy Halloween.
Same to you
Thank you
too.
for.
Shall I take this back in?
You could, well, I was going to chuck it in if you want to do it. Thank you, Paul.
Right, you might want to